Hi, International School of Bangkok and global educators everywhere. My name is Steve Sostak, and I am co-founder and co-director of Inspire Citizens, and also a teacher like many of you. I'm still in the classroom working with kids all the way from 3 years old through high school grade 12. I have a background in middle school and elementary in particular, but also heavily involved with student media and student leadership school-wide. I'm here recording this to invite you to become a part of cohort 2 of the Inspire Citizens Master Teacher Program and Endorsement, really around the idea of teaching as an art and the creative piece of teaching that's involved with where we need to go in our complex world through global citizenship and education for sustainable development and global competence. As you know, the future of the world is in our classrooms, and our goal in this Master Teacher Endorsement is to build student-centered learning experiences for transformative learning that can empower kids of all ages to think sustainably, to think systemically, to be creative problem solvers, to have greater empathy and greater resiliency in dealing with a complex 2021 and an even more complex future. The image you see here is ostensibly the Empathy to Impact Inspire Citizens system of teaching and learning. It's embedded in futures thinking, it's embedded in deliberately developmental learning communities, as well as empathy to impact. What do you care about? How do we become more aware? What do we need to be able to do to have a positive community impact? I'd recommend you take a minute or two on each slide, hit pause and dive deeper into some of the guiding questions and the language of the learning outcomes of the master's endorsement. But the first piece that we're going to be looking at in the course is the idea of adult learning communities, and how is it that we can become more profoundly open-minded and build developmental adult learning cultures in order to continue to be flexible and agile with the changing world. In the second part of the endorsement, we'll be diving into what's called futures thinking and strategic foresight. Ostensibly what this is making insights and foresights on drivers of change, and then taking those insights and foresights and looking at what does this mean for teaching and learning in 2021 and the future. After embedding our system in futures thinking and deliberately developmental learning communities, the center of everything, our why, is transformative learning for students, the cognitive skills and dispositions that will help them to thrive in a complex future. We'll start with Greg Curtis's book, Moving Beyond Busy, to help us identify those and link those to our school mission and visions. And then we'll look at our different contexts, whether it's IB, whether we're connected to mastery transcripts, and ask ourselves, how are we bringing those cognitive skills and dispositions to life? Obviously, sustainable development and the sustainable development goals are going to be a big part of how, as our learning community, we work together to build a better future for everyone, but also in the way that we identify directions for some of our teaching and learning, our concepts, and even our content. So we'll be engaging deeply with the global goals, the good life goals, and different forms of systems thinking that will help us to unpack and untangle the intricacies of sustainability. From there, we'll really dive earnestly into empathy to impact, starting with what is it that we care about, or what is it that we want to nudge our students to care more about? Harmony with nature, circular economics, diversity, equity, inclusion, and justice, and holistic well-being are just a few of the different thinking frameworks and meta-language that we'll be experiencing in the course to help us to really set forth on a deeper why, a deeper purpose in all of our unit design. From there, it's absolutely critical that our students have the research skills and the literacies that help them to understand and uncover the truth, whether that's through critical media literacy, understanding more about how graphs can be misinformative or informative, that idea of graphicacy and data literacy. How is it that we just listen and interview someone? And also the idea of what is intercultural competence and how do we get the most of our experiences through diverse communities and relationships. Able is the section where you'll find your standards, your criteria, your language objectives, your content objectives. But also what we want to do in this particular endorsement is to launch you into more interdisciplinary thinking, looking at how care and aware and impact can help connect the dots, amplifying technology, right, through the use of global collaborations and empowered learning, thinking in the future, using strategic foresight and imagination to bring the learning to life, And finally, reminding ourselves that we're all language teachers that teach speaking, reading, writing, listening, viewing, and visual representation across all the disciplines. Helping students to see that learning can make impact, it can enhance empathy, it can lead to informed action in their communities is absolutely critical in today's world. Allowing the students to build agency, showing them different pathways for enhanced action, connecting them to their communities through different community assets activities, and then also seeing what other students are doing around the world through whether it's the Inspire Citizens vignettes or through global partnerships where we can help connect classroom to classroom can be an incredibly impactful learning experience, not only for the students, but for the entire learning community and the local community. As educators in 2021, we can't just be deliverers of knowledge. We have to help our students learn how to learn. And embedded throughout the endorsement will be helpful tools and pedagogies that will support your students in taking a lead, whether it's through inquiry, whether it's through Project Zero type thinking routines, strategies on embedded formative assessment. We'll be providing you experiences to learn as an adult through those types of frameworks, but then also how to implement those things into your classroom experience. Remember that if the timing or if the master teacher endorsement just isn't right for you at this point, we do a lot with Inspire Citizens in many different pathways. Student leadership in the Future Now Toolkit is something that we are working on worldwide with students, mostly from grades 3 through 12. Futures Media is almost like a national public radio for kids, where we're helping students to see how to share and compassionate ideas around journalism, around interviewing and storytelling through many different channels. We have a new podcast that's the voices of students that are working through empathy to impact, as well as many other opportunities that you can visit at inspirecitizens.org. I know that was a rapid-fire overview of the master's program, but again, if you look at this diagram and things start to spark in your mind or your heart, join us in cohort 2 of this master's program. We'd love to have you involved. The cohorts are very tight and very close. And remember, we're teachers first. We're going to ask you to do some work, but we're also, want to be as flexible as we can to make it a great learning experience for you, because in the end, the goal is transformative learning for the sustainable development of the world and the good of all. Hope to see you in the program and have a great day.